Hey friends, I'm Rosemary Lewis, your homegirl, and I'm so excited that you are here. I do not care what it looks like on Instagram or HGTV. This whole being a realtor thing is not for the faint at heart. In 2017, I quit my job as a teacher to follow my real estate dreams and quickly found myself overwhelmed and struggling. Fast forward to today. Not only have I been recognized as one of the leaders in our industry, I have actually grown a business that I absolutely love. I don't care if you're a brand new agent trying to figure out how to get started or a veteran feeling overwhelmed and just stuck. I was just like you and I totally get it. Many times I wish there was someone that I could just talk to about all the challenges I was facing. And that is why I created this space just for you. Like best friends do, I'm giving you all the tea related to navigating and thriving in these real estate streets. If I can do it, guess what? That's proof that you can too. Everything's better with friends, so let's succeed together. Welcome to the Real Estate Bestie Podcast. Well, hello there, besties. Okay, welcome to a special episode of the Real Estate Bestie Podcast. And why? You're like, Rosemary, girl, every episode is special to me. Why is this one any different? And I'm going to tell you why. Y'all, this is our first year anniversary, also known as our birthday, right? Because we besties, we always celebrate our birthdays. And we are officially 1 year old for the Real Estate Bestie Podcast. As I was thinking about, what we wanted to talk about for this episode, I'm going to be honest with you. My heart was filled with so much gratitude for a few reasons, and I'm just going to share a couple of them with you today. And we just gonna chat about what this thing is, right? Because whether or not you realize, I don't care if this is your first episode or if you've been rocking with us for 70 some episodes, because that's where we are at this point. We go together now. Okay, we go together. I am officially your best friend. You are my real estate best friend. And I want to bring you into the fold of not only all things real estate, but really as I unpack this thing called life, I know some of the things that I'm unpacking, you're unpacking, and we just want to have a safe space for you to do that with. And I am going to just share with you, y'all, that the way Real Estate Bestie came about, honestly, it was pretty organic, and God has just blown my mind with the faithfulness, not only when I look at our stats and the way we have been able to grow past what honestly my intention was in the last year, but when I get your DMs or when I meet you face to face and when I get to just connect with the real estate besties, when, if you're local to me and I see you on the street or if we met at a conference, when you all share with me what this podcast and what this community is doing to support you, not only in your real estate journeys, but also in your life, it empowers me to really say, okay, sometimes when you don't have it all figured out, I'm thinking of that Martin Luther King quote. He says something along the lines of, sometimes you don't see the whole staircase. You just got to take the first step. And this podcast, this community, you are an example to me at the power of just taking that first faith move. And I'm just excited. So for all intents purposes, I just want to tell you happy birthday, because we are definitely celebrating something big. And y'all, I really think that we are just seeing the tip of the iceberg. And I'm just so excited that you are here to build out this thing from the ground up with me. So the very first thing that I wanted to think about is literally going back to our why. Okay. Why even have a podcast? Why even, why are you taking me along with you, whether you're going for a walk, whether you're heading to a listing appointment, to hype you up before you prospect, or listen, maybe today you just didn't have none of that and you are just chilling and hey, let me see what Rosemary and I'm talking about, whatever that is. What is the purpose of this podcast? And I will tell you that in the beginning, I started off doing an Instagram live. And that Instagram live was honestly a way for me to just show up and connect with other realtors. And the live kind of sort of started because I felt bad that I didn't have capacity. And I'm gonna tell y'all, like, if anybody feels bad for a certain reason, that's the trick of the enemy. Like, we don't need to feel bad for anything. But the problem was that I would just have different agents in my market that, and I was the same way, want to pick my brain, want to do these things. And just in terms of capacity, I would try to keep up. But then after my mama passed, I really didn't have capacity to honestly just show up for my own life, let alone pour into other people's lives. Like, I'm just keeping it 100 real. So I would do these Instagram lives just to kind of talk through things that I was experiencing in business. And if you were a part of that when I would do them regularly, I think I would do them on Thursdays, like right before my hair appointment. Which, side note, I don't know why. Like, I knew my hair appointment was every Thursday at like 11 o'clock, and I would come live with y'all every Thursday at 10. So my wig would be all jacked. I would have to wear headbands and stuff. But look, I'm a real friend. So that's what they do. We show up anyway, the way we got to look. So anywho, I would always say on those lives, like the lives didn't have a name, but I would always say, hey, tag your real estate bestie. Hey, go tag your real estate bestie. And then what would happen is that I would have people say, man, one time you talked about, how to write an offer, or you gave an example of, a conversation that you had. And they would ask me like where I said that or where I did it. And it got taxing, like looking through Instagram, trying to figure out exactly where did I say whatever they were asking me. And then it dawned on me like a light bulb moment, like, fool, look, that's the way I talk much better to myself. Like, it's a term of endearment. I was like, fool, here's the thing. If you are going to be going and being consistent and showing up on Instagram every week, you need to have some proprietorship of the content that you are creating. Because while I love social media, and I love that social media has connected me with a lot of you all, showing up on Instagram, like, I gave them full ownership of everything. I had my own record of what we were talking about and what I was sharing. And it made it hard for me to be resourceful, right? How do I then go back and point you to the resource that you need? And then it dawned on me, like, sis, because my husband and I were already doing Eagle Talk podcasts. I had all the podcasts and equipment. It was like, why don't you just do a podcast? And then that way you would have everything and you could have some ownership of your actual content instead of just playing on somebody else's playground. But then I was like, well, what would I call it? Like, do I call it like Real Estate with Rosemary or Rosemary the Realtor Hour? And then literally it was like, no, call it Real Estate Bestie. And it wasn't weird because I was already referring and telling you all to tag your real estate besties. And the reason that just really made more sense is because when I really started to think through, okay, what messaging, like what we want to convey on this podcast, I really wanted it to be talking to your good girlfriend, right? Not these phony Instagram friends. I mean, no shade. Not these people who are, kind of sort of a little bit in your circle, but you have surface relationships with. But I wanted to create a space where we could be honest about all of the sugar, honey, iced tea that not only comes along with being in the real estate business, but just comes along with this thing called life. And when I was thinking about it, I really modeled it after my two very best friends, right? I have talked about them on the first episode, and one of them, Kim, if you follow me on social, Kim is local here, and she actually works full time with me to produce this thing called Real Estate Bestie. Look at that, y'all. Look at God. And then my other best friend, Miss Sheila, and I just really thought about the depth of these relationships, right? And I'm not talking about depth in terms of time, because both of these friendships are so unique but so special to me. And one of them, Miss Sheila, is my very best friend from all of my life. I can't even say elementary school. We grew up across the street from each other. I will be 43 years old September 26th. That's my real birthday. But we talk about our real estate bestie birthday now. I cannot remember a time where Miss Sheila was not a part of my life, like a deep part of my life. And Kim really has entered my life and been an integral part of my life, I would say, in the last 4 to 5 years. But both relationships are so deep in terms of, with your real friend. Like, you ever have a friend where you're like, I don't even want to see you because when I see you, I cannot give you that fluffy version of myself that I'm able to give anybody else, right? As a matter of fact, y'all, quite honestly, because I have been able to develop these deep relationships, it's hard for me to be fluffy with anybody, right? And you probably have noticed that. Like, I have full blown cried on this podcast. I have full blown share with you the best and the most challenging moments of my life, because I think that's what the world needs more of. We need more transparency, but I mean, we have to use wisdom in our transparency, right? Because everybody should not get to see our seasons unless God releases you to do so, right? And I do think that through this podcast, He has released me to be open and honest about my life, because I want every time you come here, it to be a hug. I'm almost gonna cry, where you know that you are not alone, right? Whether it's this raggedy market, these hard-headed kids, this social media that's making us feel inadequate, or your wins, right? Whether you don't have nobody, who you gonna tell that you finally made $20,000 in a month? Tell me, sis. I understand that feeling, right? I understand about being able to actually like order the guacamole, right? Like, whatever that looks like for you, we wanted this to be a space where we could go deep, not only about real estate, but about life. And that is still my why, right? That is still my why. And it is honestly more relevant than ever, because I've shared with you all a couple episodes ago. I talked to you about my friend just recently went to heaven. And one of the most valuable things that I have learned, and I'm still evolving since that episode, is that we are meant to do life with people. A lot of times we quit on stuff because we feel like we're in isolation and nobody is going through and nobody understands. I think about, one time I was talking to one of my, do I call her a colleague? I mean, kind of a mentor. I wonder if she listens to this podcast. She's an attorney, but she supports all things Rosemary. So I bet you she listens to this podcast. But she is I dare to call you one of my mentors. She is actually a Christian divorce attorney. Ain't that weird? But that's what it is. One thing that I love about her is that she was divorced early on, and she has kind of like, it's almost become a ministry for her to really support people during this really, really tough time. But she often would share with me, like, one of her questions to clients, like, does this need to end? And one time I asked her a question, like, what is the thing that, most people, like the silly things that most people get divorced over? And her response to me was like, honestly, most of them, she didn't call them silly, but she just said most of them is just unmet expectations. But it's because we feel like you're the only one. You feel like you're the only one whose husband don't manage money, or you're the only one whose wife doesn't show you respect. And a lot of times if we would put ourselves in situations where we were doing life in community, where not only we would know, okay, I'm not the only one, but where can we get help and support to improve? It would be a game changer. And bringing it back to Real Estate Bestie, I think about how many people exit this business. First of all, how many people get in this business not really understanding the complexity and understanding if it's a good fit for them, right? And then how many people it is really a good fit for you. You're really called to this space, but we exit because we hit a rough patch, or the clicks ain't clicking, or, it's just real estate start real estating. Everything is a verb around here. And you feel like you're all alone. But if there was a safe space where we could be honest, but we could learn, and we could have all of the life about it wrapped up in one, how much more could we not only impact our lives, but show up, help people in this very, very important transaction, and impact the kingdom of God. So that's why we're here. Okay. We are here. And like, my why is still my why. Our why, as a matter of fact, it's changed from my why to our why. And that is why every single time you come here, I'm going to encourage you to hit that share button. And I see y'all sharing with people that ain't in real estate, because the reality is that a lot of what we talk about is transferable. And yeah, we can just help so many people. So that is our why. That is why we are here. And I am just so grateful to be here. I'm so grateful that we get to help. Now, here is a real life confession. When we started the podcast, it was actually like September 1st, 2022. I had some very basic goals, right? My goal was, hey, if we could get 100 downloads a month, I felt like that was good, right? We just want to be in a few people's ears. We want to have this nice intimate community. And y'all, let me tell you something about the Lord. our first week of the Real Estate Bestie podcast, we hit over 100 downloads. And I'm just so grateful to say that know that since like May, every single week, we have hit over 1,000 downloads per week. And to date, we are like 30,000 downloads in. Now, in podcasting world, like for instance, I was just on Jenna Kutcher's podcast and she hitting a couple million a month. But we gonna get there, right? My point is that God has 10x'd the impact of what I thought was possible. And I'm telling you this because I want you, like, I only saw that first step. First step was just get out your podcast equipment, pay your VA, get some episodes out, and maybe a few people would hear, right? Literally, we would still be celebrating if it would have been 1,200 downloads in the last year. But God has 10x'd my expectation, and now what I was hoping to get in a week, we are doing that 10 times, and I'm just so grateful for you so that we are, just sharing with each other. So I just want to encourage you all in that. But now let's talk about what's next, right? Because that's the crazy thing, right? The crazy thing is putting yourself in position where we are actually out here dreaming some dreams. And I am going to tell you one thing that I know about myself and I know about you because we friends, is that sometimes we are scared to put out there what we really want to achieve, because if we don't say it, if we don't share it with anyone else, if we don't act like we want it, then if it doesn't happen, then no harm, no foul, right? But then if we put it out there and for whatever reason, it doesn't happen exactly the way we think it's going to happen, then we end up maybe feeling like we have failed. And I just want to first, I'm going to cancel that assignment of the enemy right here. Because you know what? There is something, first of all, there is accountability in saying what it is that we want to do. But then there's also, that we get some ownership. Like when we say, like, actually take a moment to visualize and to dream and to actually sit with God and say, okay, what do you want of me? And not what do you want of me in business, right? When we pray for our businesses, when we pray for our endeavors and actually speak it and share it in healthy community, it is amazing to see what God does with that obedience, because sometimes everybody don't need to just see the fact that you close these houses and all that stuff. That's all good. But there is somebody who needs to walk alongside to know, man, I remember. Can you imagine the dude who knew Jeff Bezos when he was in his garage selling books? Can you imagine the witness he's been able to see? And here go the thing, even he might not even never tell Jeff that he is proud of him, but it's something to see it from the seed and then it sprout and grow into this beautiful thing. So I don't want us to be afraid. And we're even going to have some more events coming up soon so that we can do some goal setting and some visualizing and some mind mapping and planning with each other in this community. I'm just saying that to say, where are we going with Real Estate Bestie, right? And I have even had to check myself on this because it's scary. Right? I'm gonna be honest. Like sometimes when I think about you and I think about the community and I think about, what I pray God does here, it's scary, to think like, first of all, there's something else people don't talk about. Like I'm scared of it not happening, but also sometimes I'm scared of the success. Like, okay, Lord, if this really does happen, and then according to your word, Ephesians 3:20, now unto him who is able to do exceedingly and abundantly more above all you can ask or think. So if this is what I'm asking and I'm thinking about, and you even exceed this, oh my gosh, like what does capacity look like? I even think about my girl, Nona Jones. I've heard her speak several times, and she has said that one of her prayers is that, God, please don't let your grace take me anywhere where my character cannot sustain me. And that is literally one of my prayers for my life and for yours. And when I think about Real Estate Bestie, though, I'm like, I got to jump out the water. And this past 4 or 5 months, I have been jumping out the water, and I have been investing not only my time, but I've invested my money. And y'all know this real estate market a little slower. Thank the Lord that we still eating over here and that we have, great referral partners and we are digging down on our habits. I've talked to you about, just ways that I am leveling up and just really digging down on my daily habits. I'll link those episodes here. And it is bringing in business. But now, I am investing in something again where I am like on staircase 2. Like I'm on the second stair. I don't see the whole staircase, but I'm believing that we are growing something magnificent. So what's next for us, right? Well, of course, you can expect that we are going to continue to show up here 2 times a week, right? On Tuesdays, we will have our Q&A episodes. On Thursdays, we are always going to be here talking live, teaching you something, having interviews, just going a little bit deeper so that you can just take some tangible things, right? But now we are going to, and we've added the Facebook group, so you can start expecting to see more in the Facebook group. If you're not a part of that, rosemarylewis.com/Facebook. Definitely, if nothing else, y'all get on our email list, rosemarylewis.com/list, because as we are growing, as we are doing like different events, as we are touching, having courses, bringing you different things to help grow you, again, like I hope to help you become a really, really paid real estate agent, but I also just hope to help you enrich your lives. So all of the things that we are doing in this community, our email list and Facebook group will know about it first. Okay, then y'all, drum roll please. We are going to host our first real estate conference. I can't even believe that I'm saying that. I know I've kind of thrown it out here before, like real estate bestie retreat, and honestly, I don't even know where that terminology came from. But, I think about different conferences that I've been in or just even different spaces with real estate, and they can seem so pretentious. They can seem like, if you're not in the old boys club, or they can be so left field where like I haven't really learned anything to help me grow. Like I have left some places where I even felt overwhelmed and inadequate, or I felt like this was nice and social, but I'm not really leaving with anything that I can grab for my business. However, I'm gonna tell you, each time I invest in these things, I always leave with relationships. So it's never been a loss. But your girl has just put down some money on the Real Estate Bestie Retreat. And our vision for this is a real estate conference. That's why we're not even calling it a conference. A real estate retreat, a real estate bestie retreat like no other. So in this retreat, my vision is we are going to invite speakers, and we're going to have breakout session and small group session where we're not only diving into the semantics of real estate, but I'm going to bring in other leaders in their industry, right? I have been blessed to be in partnership and learn from people who, although they don't have a real estate business, they are dominating, social media. They are dominating sales. They are dominating in their marketing. And we are going to bring these different people to you so that we can take, that's one thing. We have to be flexible enough to not only look within our industry, but look at other industries where people are doing the same thing, like doing what we want to do well, even though their product is different, right? And I'm just so excited to do that. But then it's also going to be like life-based, right? It's almost going to be like life coaching, I guess, where we are going to honestly dig into some mindset things. We are going to dig into some just life things. And I'm just so grateful to be able to be I don't even want to call myself the sphere here. I just want to be the common denominator to bring this experience to you. And I want you to plan for it. I want you to get your ticket because it is going to be, I'm praying about it daily. And full transparency, like even signing the contract to host the event, it made me nervous, right? And not even the financial contribution, that we are making to make sure that this event happens, but honestly, like just really stepping out on faith and saying, okay, God, I know that you're going to send the right people to this event at the right moment. And I just want to honor you well and just make this something that they haven't quite experienced before. So that is one of the things that that is coming up next for us. And if you like literally today, it's going to be, I know everybody say space is limited, but it really is, because we want it to be an intimate retreat feel. It is going to happen April 9th through 11th. So I want you to go ahead and mark your calendars. Go ahead and start looking for your plane tickets right now. It's going to be in South Lake, Texas. So up the street from where my office is and all that. It's going to be amazing. So rosemarylewis.com/retreat. If you are ready to say, yes, I'm raising my hand, I want to be a part of this. I don't know all the details. I'm going to figure it out, and I'm going to reserve my space to get there. So that is what is immediately next on the horizon for Real Estate Bestie. And then here's what else is up next, right? I want more of you. Right? We are just really looking for ways. And this is where I need you all to just comment to me, get in my DMs on social media. You can email our team at support@rosemarylewis.com. And listen, like, there is nothing that you can share with us that we are ever going to shame you for, because we want to truly, truly meet our besties where they are. So what do you need from us, right? What are and I'm not saying I have all the answers, because the Lord knows I don't have all the answers. But what I do have is a mouth. I do have the skill of networking. I do have the skill of collaborating with other people. So we want to make sure that by the time we're on our second birthday, right, that we can celebrate the fact that we have not only had a successful retreat, that we have, had great courses and different things that we have brought to you to help you learn and grow as a real estate professional, but overall as a person. But we want to make sure that we are tackling the subjects and the things that matter to you most. So if that's simply you going to rosemarylewis.com/ask and asking your question, like, what is that thing that is that roadblock that you are facing in this moment? Please send us that question and we will answer it on the podcast. Or if it's something deeper and I need to bring in a specialist, I need to bring in somebody who specializes in this niche problem that you have. We just really want to make sure that, again, a good friend not just go tell you, "Ooh, girl, you need to lose weight," but a good friend could be like, "Girl, let's get some Pelotons and let's go to the gym and let's try this low carb deal together so that we can grow together." And that is exactly where we want to go with the Real Estate Bestie podcast. So that's it. And then finally, what are we going to do? Y'all, we are going to grow. Okay. We are going to grow. One of the worst things that you can do in life is to look up and be in the same position that you were in the year before. Now, don't get me wrong. I am so great. Like, there is definitely something to be said about contentment. And I am so grateful, and I'm very careful not to go ahead of God and to just make sure that, hey, everything that we do here is in alignment with what He has for us. But I know that part of what we get to do, and this is why I love podcasting, this is why I love this community, is that together, us sharing, us growing together is going to allow us to scale beyond anything that I could just do on my own. So in that, we need you, right? I literally need you to hit pause, hit share on this podcast, share it to your social media, share it to your friends, give us a 5-star review, leave a comment, because what that is going to do is going to inform the algorithms, right? That we are building something special here and that we are doing it in such a unique way. And I definitely need your help to do that. We need each other's help. So we are going to grow this thing. I don't even know. Like, what are we going for? Are we going for 1 million downloads by year 2? Let's do it. Let's say it. Okay. See, I'm scared to say that. I'm scared to put that out there. But you know what? Sometimes you got to do it scared. So tell me, what do you need to do scared, right? We're talking about Real Estate Bestie Podcast, which you're a part of, but also, sometimes I hope maybe this is encouraging you to get off the sidelines. If something you thought you had to have something figured out perfectly in order to get started. Listen, you don't. I'm literally in my closet recording this episode. It is not pretty. I haven't even showered today. Okay. I worked out and I was like, I need to just go ahead and record the episode, and this is what's happening. So sometimes you just got to go for it, and you got to do it, and you got to do it scared. So again, besties, happy birthday. It has been like beyond my pleasure just to do life with you in this way over the last year. And I'm just really excited to see what God has in store for us next, what he has in store for our community. I'm already excited. I'm already praying for those of you who are trying to make the decision. Am I going to invest in myself and my business and go to Dallas? Yes, you are, because you deserve it. You deserve to be in that room. You deserve to connect with all the amazing people. I can't wait to meet you in person, to hug your neck and to tell you that you're capable. You got this. Whatever this is in your life, you got it. And I'm just excited. So again, happy birthday. When you get a moment, get yourself a little birthday candle, blow it out, because we did that. We did that like together. And I'm so grateful for you. Talk to you soon. If you enjoyed this episode and you have a real life bestie that you think it would resonate with, y'all, do me a favor. Go ahead and hit that share button, because you know what? We are better together. Make sure you share the podcast, and I appreciate your reviews. I appreciate you giving me 5 stars more than you know. I'll talk to you next week.